Welcome back to the Football Kingdom podcast. I'm Tyler Mallon, and I'm flying solo this week. Brandon Johnson will be back on next episode, but he's busy with the This is Baseball podcast. Today is April 2nd, and we are in Jackson County. They are voting for the stadium tax tonight at 7. And he's going to be recording a show about that, which basically is going to put the Kansas City Royals downtown at the Kansas City Star location and give the Chiefs, their money to make the changes to the stadium, that they've proposed, which we've already said is pretty boring as a football fan who doesn't really care about partying in the parking lot necessarily. Tailgating is amazing in Kansas City, as most people have heard, but and honestly, Royals is a pretty awesome party as well. But watching a concert and doing all this other stuff, it's like, you can miss me on a lot of that stuff. But yeah, we'll know, tonight if this is actually going to get passed or not. So it's pretty exciting times for Kansas City today, but we'll hear from Brandon on the next episode, like I said. I want to get started off with some rules. We kind of covered this stuff, but these are now official. The hip drop tackle is going to be banned, essentially. It's going to be a penalty. I'm assuming it's a personal foul. We'll know a lot more in preseason, but I think this is a little much. It's a little dangerous to let guys tackle a certain way, and it's a pretty well taught way of tackling someone, and they're calling it the swivel hip drop tackle. I get what they're trying to do because there was, a couple of guys who got hurt because you're basically landing your entire body on someone's ankles. Mark Andrews was taken out until the playoffs. They did the same thing to Lamar Jackson in that same game. But, Tom Pelissero put it like this. He's like, listen, there's going to be a lot of enforcement in the preseason early on. There's going to be lots of fines and stuff like that. He doesn't really think there's going to be a whole lot during the season. The problem is, does it decide a game? Because somebody just made a normal tackle, and now they're like, oh, well, the guy got up limping. Did he fall on his ankle on accident? Yes, he did. It's a hip drop penalty now, and your team loses the Super Bowl because of it. There's plenty of weird rules like that in the NFL, but I don't know. This just seems like they rushed this one. It really wasn't a thing until this year. Maybe it was before. I'd never really heard about it, but I don't know. I think they just went a little too far, I would say, just by saying, okay, well, it's now just immediately banned. The NFL Players Association put out a statement before it was passed saying, don't pass it, please. We need, better communication. Let's give this another year and give a better idea of how to teach these guys, a better way to tackle and to kind of unlearn that type of tackling, I guess. But I don't know. I think could do more harm. Other people are like, it could kind of go either way, but it's not really going to be as big a deal as people think. I don't know. They're kind of putting it as it's not going to be as, crazy as the pass interference was reviewable. I will that's kind of wait and see, whether or not that's going to go kind of that extreme. The other big one is the kickoffs. Again, we talked about that, but This one's interesting. This one actually really changes, how the game is played, really. I mean, I think there's going to be a heck of a lot more returns. But I'll go into how it's kind of going to work. There's basically 10 teams or 10 players lined up on the offensive side or the kickoff side. They can't move until the ball is landed. There's a landing zone. Kickoffs that hit the landing zone then go into the end zone must be returned or down by the receiving team. If it's downed, your team gets it on the 20-yard line. Kickoffs that go into the end zone, and stay in bounds, the receiving team then gets it on the 30. If kickoffs are short, if they don't land inside the landing zone, that receiving team gets it on the 40. Okay, I can't remember the last time I saw a short kick, on purpose, or even honestly on accident. I mean, you think about like squib kicks. I don't know if a squib kick exists anymore. If you landed in the landing zone, I don't know if that's possible, but I think this is going to be awesome. I think the first couple of weeks, probably a month, it's going to be something totally new that we've never really seen before. There's a lot of potential of, a lot more returns. But I think this actually could, if somebody can just be accurate enough to give you, that 11th man for tackling, because this, if you've seen the XFL versions of this, it could be where you don't want your good kicker to be making these kicks, and you want a guy who can make some tackles, someone a little more athletic, out there, just kicking the ball good enough, and then hopefully making a stop. But I don't know. This is pretty weird, but I think it's kind of cool. It's kind of like one of the first changes they made since probably the 2-point conversion. That's kind of out there and say, okay, onside kicks aren't really working. That being said, onside kicks are now they have to be declared. Okay, so you're basically telling the other team, like, we're going to onside kick, get ready for that. But they also aren't changing how onside kicks work. So I'm not really sure what we're doing there, because they try to get the thing passed where you can have a 4th and 15 play in your own, 20 or something, instead of the onside kick, in lieu of it, basically. But they shot that down again this year, so they still haven't fixed the onside kick. It's like a 2% success rate or whatever it is, and I don't know. I figured if they're going to do something like that, because they're like, okay, here's this new kickoff, but you also can't just do a surprise onside, even though that wouldn't make sense anyway, because I think it's each team lines up, 5 yards from each other on this new kickoff rule, so it's pretty interesting. But again, both teams can't move until the ball is landed in that zone, and then kind of all hell breaks loose. But there has been it does raise the potential of, more kickoff returns. So that could be cool. I hope it just doesn't go too far where it's like every other kickoff is a touchdown. I mean, I don't think that's going to happen, but, you got to be careful. You don't want to completely change, how the NFL is played. But yeah, there's another one where, not another kind of rule change where the replay official can actually weigh in on the on-field officials, or with the on-field officials, over the headset, and say, kind of give his opinion on intentional grounding and roughing the passer. So it's not necessarily like you're going to be reviewing these plays, but if a call is made and it's pretty egregious that, like, Chris Jones accidentally hit Tom Brady's face mask and changes a game's outcome, maybe a hypothetical, situation like that has happened. The review official can actually come in and say, hey guys, that you missed it. Like, hey, you saw that from behind. I think I know what you saw there. It's not that egregious. Pick up the flag. That's another Tom Pelissero report where he's like, yeah, this guy can actually come in and kind of change the play back to, correct it, essentially, because that, I think, is a huge frustration for all of us fans, because it's, Mahomes has gotten some calls, but you see plenty of players that you barely touch the guy, or they say they landed on him and all this. It's like it's never been reviewable, and now the replay booth is going to be able to watch it, tell the guys on the field, like, hey, that's not roughing the passer. That was not intentional grounding. Let's pick up the flag and keep playing. One more overall NFL news item. There's going to be a Christmas game on Wednesday. We're having NFL games played now on basically every day of the week. So get ready for that. Okay, no, so not quite. But yeah, Christmas falls on Wednesday this year. They're going to have 2 games held there. Not sure what those are yet, but yeah, NFL on Wednesdays now. So there you go. They've already expanded so much over the last couple years of, Saturday games and stuff like that, which honestly I love. All of this stuff has been great to me, being able to watch NFL basically all week. I'm not super against that, but yeah, an NFL game on Wednesday is kind of interesting. But yeah, another little tidbit there. But gonna move on to some Chiefs news now. The Chiefs picked up Carson Wentz as a backup. Apparently, they wanted him last year. Normally, teams don't really go, have this much turnover, in the backup QB spot. Usually have some consistency there. I guess he wanted a lot more than what the Chiefs were offering last year, and that's why he was back up to Matt Stafford for the Rams last year. But I don't know. This is a much better backup than they've had. I mean, Blaine Gabbert is serviceable guy, but I don't know if he could have picked up the team and went and won a Super Bowl. Not saying that Carson Wentz will either, but I could see with this team and Andy Reid, they could win some playoffs games and be pretty spicy. But I don't know. I think he's as far as backup QBs, he's probably the best. I don't know. Can't think of all of them, but that's a pretty darn good. I mean, if you count, we're not going to count Justin Fields here, but as far as that goes, that's a pretty good pickup there. But the Chiefs also signed Rees Zammit from Wales. He is a rugby player, apparently a rugby star, who, his dad played in the NFL, and they watched NFL games. Maybe his dad didn't play in the NFL, but I think he did play American football. But, really loved the NFL growing up, and this is a dream of his. This is a part of the International Pathway Program that the NFL does to get foreign, players into the NFL as an extra draft. And they also expanded, I think, how many players you can have on your practice squad this year. So whether or not this dude plays, I don't know. It's like if this guy comes out and just explodes onto the scene with Mahomes, like, no one is safe, okay? I mean, this guy, he looks crazy good at rugby. Seen him in, pads and making one-handed catches and stuff like that in practice, but can he learn, an NFL system and even make the practice squad and then start games and make a difference? Who knows? From what I've heard, it's extremely low chance, even with as good as this guy is, like what kind of an athlete he is. But, they're calling him Reese Lightning or LRZ, so he's already got some nicknames going. But, yeah, they said that, he was clocked at 24 miles per hour, his fastest times playing rugby last year. So those are Tyreek Hill type speeds. All right, so we can, again, pair this up with Mahomes, and he's catching balls. I mean, who knows? You hope. As a Chiefs fan, you're like, man, this could be crazy. I mean, go watch some highlights. The guy is he's only like 24 years old. Like, he's super young, and I don't know. Could be awesome. It could be nothing, but we'll see. Chiefs also re-signed Clyde Edwards-Helaire. Signed him to a 1-year contract. He gets the ball about 4 plays a game right now anyway, which I'm fine with. I didn't really expect them to do this move, I guess. I thought they would just let him move on, and it is what it is, but he's a really good, backup running back. From all accounts, a good teammate. He's already kind of, in the system, and I don't hate the move. I didn't really see it coming, but I don't think it's anything crazy. Apparently, they brought in J.K. Dobbins today as well to work him out. A lot of people are speculating, like, well, yeah, J.K.'s there to get Clyde to sign, probably a cheaper deal. Who the heck knows? But yeah, I don't know. J.K. I think would be a good guy to pick up as well. But I think that this kind of shows you, like, I doubt the Chiefs are going to be making too big a splash plays with running backs in the draft. Brandon and I were talking today. We are not draft guys. We're not draft experts, but it annoys the bejesus out of us when people have like 15 mock drafts. Like, give me a break. It's a ridiculous exercise of, I'm going to guess 15 times, and then I'm going to come back and be like, oh, remember draft 7? Mock draft number 7, man. I nailed the 5 picks out of the first round. It's like, okay, good for you, buddy, but it's more annoying than anything for us. But we also really don't follow college sports, and, it really is a guessing game unless you're a true insider with a specific team, and you kind of know the draft day is such a crapshoot anyway. But yeah, we'll certainly cover the draft when it gets closer. We're about a month out right now, and it's certainly exciting, and we'll cover kind of what the Chiefs are thinking with those types of move, but we're certainly not going to be making a mock draft anytime soon. So that's all I've got for you this week. As always, shoot us an email, FootballKingdomPod@gmail.com. Love to hear from you guys, honestly. Any criticism is a positive thing, even if it's negative. It's, you learn something, about your product or yourself. That goes for anything, not just your podcast episode, but criticism is a really good thing to learn from, and honestly, we want to hear from you guys. If you got any ideas of what kind of episodes you want from us, I know I've made this call out, but who knows, we might be getting some new listeners, hopefully. But yeah, definitely want to hear from you. Have your opinions on the format of the show now, what you'd like in the future, because yeah, we're in this for the long haul. We really want to push this thing forward and really grow. But like I said, we'll be putting out video content, probably, close to the end of the year, hopefully. Have a lot of stuff to do in the off season. Yeah, definitely want to hear from you. Go check out our YouTube. If you want to listen to episodes there, you can go over there and start listening. Moving forward, we have a Twitter as well. It's Football Kingdom Pod as well. And we'll see you next week.